Okay, we're back from break, and thank you very much for tuning in tonight to the Independent Doctors. And if you tuned us in late, then as my guest tonight, I have Arthur from Pahrump Medical Supply Incorporated, and he is just across the street, Pahrump Valley Boulevard, from my office. And we've had a kind of a lively discussion about some of the medical supplies and what he can provide and why you should choose an independent supplier of medical goods, durable medical equipment. And again, to review, it's not just a storefront. This is an accredited business, been accredited by Medicare, been accredited by the State Board of Pharmacy, high standards, locally served. Arthur lives in the community just like I do, and this is the kind of stuff that we want to support in our community. And while we were on break, we were discussing, as you remember, and I've been in this town for, I don't know, 13, 14 years now, but Option Care was a medical supply company located in the on the Calvada Boulevard, and they got bought out by Walgreens, and then shortly thereafter, for some mysterious reason, they just kind of disappeared. And I know that's not a good precedence to set. I mean, sometimes I feel that's what corporate people do. They come in and they buy stuff up, but they're not necessarily have the local touch, and that's why I want to bring Arthur on and let everybody know that he is in this town. And you do a lot of advertising too, but I mean, like I do, you do advertising, you don't know how much it works and doesn't work. But let's talk a little bit about some of the other supplies that you do. One of the things, hospital beds are a big deal. And we see that when people come out of hospitals and they need a lot of care, surgery, and things of the nature, beds don't do. So you do hospital beds, correct?
We do hospital beds, and they come in all shapes and sizes. And for each individual, you may need a different type than somebody else might. That's why we do assess your need, and working in conjunction with your physician based on their recommendation, we get you the proper equipment needed so you can have a faster healing and turnaround time.
And then you do incontinence supplies?
We do. We also provide incontinence supplies for those that are in need. Some people are actually surprised that we carry this line of products. Most are used to mail ordering them. Some of them pay shipping, some of them don't, or they rely again on an outside company, for example, to bring them in. But we do carry a wide variety of incontinence supplies and different brands. And again, what works for one person may not work for another. So we do give you choices. We let you try out some of the brands and some of the products, and whatever you decide you're comfortable with, or whoever you're caring for is comfortable with, then that's the type of product that we either already have in stock or we keep in stock for you.
And then talked about one of the things that as we see people aging and getting a little older, though mobility is limited. I have a lot of patients ask about scooters and electric wheelchairs and things of that nature, and that's a big ticket item for Medicare, and they don't like to pay for scooters. And there's been some, unfortunately, with anything, a little bit of fraud and abuse associated with those too. So
and absolutely, Dr. Reiner, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight. Is people have gotten the idea that riding around in a scooter or a power wheelchair is just one of those carts that they pick up at the supermarket, and it's not. It is a medical product, and it's a fairly expensive piece of medical product that Medicare doesn't take lightly in issuing out, and neither do we. We're not one of those, companies that you actually might have even heard about recently on TV. They were accused of pushing wheelchairs and scooters onto people that didn't actually need them. And that's not what we do. We do assess the patient's situation and their mobility needs, and there are several steps that need to be taken before they Medicare even considers them to be qualified to receive the chair. And if we've gone through each and every avenue and ruled them out as a possibility of a treatment option, and wheelchair is the only option left, and that's the route that we're going to go with. But again, it is stringent. That's why Medicare, as a matter of fact, they require for the patient to have a face-to-face evaluation, they call it, with the patient. And some of you may have gone through the process. It is a lengthy process, but for a good reason. It is a complete mobility evaluation, and they assess your mobility needs, and if a power wheelchair is what is needed to get you around the house and get you to complete your daily activities, yes, and then we can work again with your doctor to get you the product that you need.
Yeah, and that's the key. You work with all physicians in the community to get that done, and I know I've done a few of those evaluations, and it's unfortunate. I think people, those scooter stores, or they make it seem so easy for the patient just to, hey, I want one of those, and why can't I have that? The Medicare is going to pay for it, or the government's going to pay for it. Sure. But in reality, if you're a patient that needs that kind of equipment, you can't use your arms. You have to have a debilitating factor for your arms as well as your legs. It isn't, because if you can use your arms, then you can power a wheelchair.
Sure.
And that's the big thing that people don't really understand. And not only that, they're kind of semi-dangerous. I mean, people have hurt themselves on those things.
They can be, and yeah, they do require a little adjustment in the beginning. Absolutely right. That's why we do take the time to train the people that we get these chairs to, so that we make sure that they have a safe environment and they know how to operate the equipment that we provide safely.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and God, you don't want to take a patient who's already struggling and then put them in something that can hurt them worse, and that's a real faux pas, right?
And that's absolutely, and that's part of it. But again, that's the reason why it is a strenuous process. It is a lengthy process, but what we do is we walk the patients from A to Z. We let them know what their options are, first of all, and what's available to them, and we help them make the decision as to what's right for them and their lives.
Okay, and your wife pretty much runs the store for the most part, right?
My wife is at the shop. She's full-time running the shop there. We do have help that help us out every now and then, but again, it is a family-centered business, and that's why it is, again, I can't stress the point of quality and one-on-one relationship that we emphasize in the community.
Right. So, Pahrump community, don't I like to support Arthur because he is independent like myself, but and maybe not every physician may have that same flavor they may want to send you. But if you have Medicare or Medicaid or commercial insurance, and your physician is dictating something through something else, you don't have to stick with that option. You can choose, and that's one of the things. The freedom of choice is very important, and so I ask that you would choose the local providers in this community to make them stronger, and then you vote with your pocketbook every day when you go to the store, when you go buy anything. This is how you vote, and if you vote with your pocketbook for better service, it forces the other people that give you crappy service to step up to the plate. And so again, hopefully Arthur's number will be at the bottom.